All right, I just want to show a little bit of an introduction to the statics course here. So let's have a look. All right, this is Statics Engineering 211. I'm David Kidd. There's my office and phone number and email and office hours, Monday, Wednesday, and Tuesday, Thursday. The class is in IA 212 every day of the week. Generally Tuesday we cover homework and recitation. I may also schedule lectures and sessions at that time also. I often take homework in on a Friday too, so we cover homework on Thursday when I do that. Now what I would do with these sessions, for those of you online, is I would post them in Moodle with links that you could click on and get to the sessions. All right, what we're going to do here, this is an introductory class in force analysis and covers the forces on objects that are not accelerating, which is why it's called statics. So we're going to look at 2 and 3D force systems, moments, trusses, frames and machines, centroids, moment of inertia, shear and moment in beams, and friction if we have time. And what I'd like you to be able to do here when we're done with this class is to solve theoretical and applied problems in these areas listed, and I'd like you to do it in a legible and organized fashion. The actual outcomes for the class is you should be able to analyze three-dimensional force and moment systems, find resultant forces and moments, and find force and moment reactions, analyze stresses, frames, and machines, and find centroids and moments of inertia. Also analyze shear and moment in beams. You should have had integral calculus before you take this class, which is Math 252. Okay, the textbook for this class is Statics Notes, which is available at the bookstore. That is a note packet that covers the notes we will go over in class and also has homework. The organization on that is perhaps a little funny. I think it's pages 1 through 32 list the homework. Those are in the front of the packet. And then from then on, I think it starts on page 110 and then is numbered by tens for the notes. So the pages are sequential as you go through, although they're not like 110, 111, 112. They're numbered by tens. That gives me the ability to insert new pages. I'm constantly changing this thing as time goes on, so I just like to have room between my original pages to insert new pages. I also think you should have a statics textbook of some type. Although being as the homework is embedded in the notes, in the beginning of the notes, you can have any static textbook you like. It really doesn't matter which text or which edition. It's all good. I think my notes cover just what I cover in class. A textbook gives much more thorough treatment to this subject, and I think in further classes that you'll take, and when you're working, you'd want an actual textbook. This class is a foundation for structural analysis and design, so you'll take quite a few classes that are based on this one. All right, my grading system, exams are 85%, homework is 15%. I use either the column for System 1 or System 2 to generate your grade, and then I use a straight percentage to issue a letter grade. Now what I do, I look at both systems 1 and 2, and I take the one that gets you the best grade. So you'll notice System 1 weights the midterms and final equally. System 2 weights the final more. So if you have problems on one of your midterms, System 2 will often help compensate for that. Okay, so what I do, I have a spreadsheet that sets this up and a little bit of a logic routine in the spreadsheet that'll pick the higher of the two scores. All right, so that's how I do the grading. What ends up happening here is Moodle, which is our course management system, can't do this logic routine. It can't really grade the way I grade. Okay, so the result of that is I use Moodle to display your scores for homework and tests. However, I do not use Moodle to calculate your grade. I calculate it separately on a spreadsheet and enter that number into Moodle. So just be aware of that, because Moodle auto calculates course totals and displays them. I can't turn that feature off. And the result of that is you have this course total that is misleading. It doesn't really mean anything because it's auto-generated by Moodle. Whereas your actual score for the class is, I calculate it on a spreadsheet and I'll display it, okay? So just realize that at the end of the term, the percentage that I display is how I base your letter grade on, not the auto-generated Moodle course total, okay? All right, if you need to make up an exam, you have to contact me before you miss the exam and schedule a makeup. Incompletes are handled on a case-by-case basis. It's your responsibility to check in with me on that. Generally speaking, I cover the homework on Tuesday and then it's due on Wednesday. I often, though, now do have problems that are due on Friday or Monday, okay, and we'll cover them before they're due if that's the case. Okay, I'll drop the lowest weekly homework score will be dropped. I don't take late homework. Okay, this course prepares you for a professional work environment, so I expect you to act in a professional way, attend class regularly, participate in class activities, and just make sure the atmosphere in the class is a positive learning environment. Okay. All right, there's the course schedule there, generally laid out by each week, the topics there that we'll cover. Now, I don't have exact dates scheduled for exams. I give you at least a week's notice. Midterm 1 is usually late week 4 or early week 5. Midterm 2 is late week 8 or early week 9. I'll give you a week's notice. For those of you in the online section of the class, I usually schedule exams on the main LBCC campus, and I have them in the evening is usually what I do. So, because I know a lot of you have reasons why you can't be here in the afternoon, so that's how I handle that, okay? Now, if you need to take an exam off campus, you need to schedule that yourself, wherever you were planning to take it. It has to be in a proctored United States testing center of some type, a community college or university or something like that in the United States. And that's how you have to take care of that, okay? If you are planning to take exams off campus, you should first arrange that early and be sure that you have a place where your exam can be proctored, and also notify me of that, okay? And just start that conversation earlier rather than later, so there's no real problems, okay? Okay, our final exam is Tuesday, December 5th from 2:30 to 4:30. I might have an evening session for the final for the online students as well on Tuesday. Okay. All right, here's just some things that employers expect of employees. This came out of Pittsburgh, for whatever it's worth there. I think it's a good list to expect to do in school too. Okay, so that's just a good list of things to know. All right, just some other things that come up. Disability services and emergency planning. If you need any sort of accommodation, just check in with me, and we'll certainly accommodate whatever needs you have so that you can get a fair assessment in the class or a good learning environment. So, just discuss it with me and we'll work that out. We have an anti-discrimination statement. LBCC does not tolerate discrimination based on any number of categories there. So I think that means we should treat each other decently regardless of our differences. Also, I have a paragraph in there on academic honesty. So please help each other on homework, but to receive credit, do your own work. Any cheating on homework or tests will result in a 0 being assigned for the grade. Students who aid other students who cheat will also be held responsible. Okay, so that's an important thing in these classes. Everyone should be doing their own work. Okay, if you're watching this video, you're probably well aware that I post these videos in Moodle. I have a homework section where I post the homework. I have a file there where I list all the homework that's due. I also have links where you can upload your homework if you're a distance ed student. Okay, I have handouts from class that you can download. And I have the live sessions and recordings posted there. Okay, the homework format. When you do homework on your own there, it should be formatted properly. This is important for when you transition to the work environment. Your employer and your clients are going to expect your work to be done in a professional way, so we want to start helping you to develop those habits. You also want to have it legible and organized so that other people can follow what you're doing. Okay, so what we want here on the top, we want your name, the date, problem number, and page number. We want a problem statement and a sketch with a straight edge of whatever it is you're working on. We want a we want to lay out the problem solution so it can be followed by someone, and then we want all the answers to a single problem in one box. Okay, so that's what we're looking for in the homework. Okay, there's a statics formula sheet shown right here. It's also available in the downloads, and I've handed this out in class, I believe. Okay, so this is the formula sheet. You'll get a copy of this when you take tests. Okay, let's think about how we're going to succeed in this class. Okay, here's just some random things that I've collected over the years. This is a little article out of the Oregon State University Barometer student newspaper. They asked, what have you learned this year at Oregon State University? And the response from one student was, showing up for class is pretty important. And I think that's very good advice. I think you need to show up and be engaged in class to succeed. So especially those of you online, just mark out a regular time where you're going to be watching the session recordings and keep up. It's very important to do that to succeed. All right, you want to do your work in a systematic way and carry the units through. This is from 1999, where they built a Mars orbiter. And the design team, I believe, used metric units, whereas the operations team thought they were using English units. And the result of that was they crashed the orbiter right into Mars and broke it into pieces and couldn't use it. So do your work carefully, carry your units through. Okay, that's important in this class. Okay, here's another little bit of advice. This is a movie from a number of years ago that's called Teen Beach Movie, which is something that my daughter watched repeatedly. So I got to know it a little better maybe than I really wanted to. And there was a quote in there that I liked, though, and what you have on the surfboard are the romantic leads. We've got Brady, I think it is, on the left, and Mac on the right. Brady is the impulsive fellow who is a man of action. Mac is more thoughtful and thinks things through more carefully. And at one point she says to Brady, I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you. Okay, so the deal is I'm the teacher of this class. My job is to explain it to you, but it's your job to understand it. And you understand it by doing it on your own and processing it, not just listening to me, but doing it yourself. That's how we understand things. Okay. All right, and then one other little thing I've got, I think if I paste this in, I'll get a video. And the video from YouTube will show us why statics is important, okay, to know. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. So we've dropped a car into the ocean here apparently. We've got a tow truck to get it out. Uh-oh. There goes the tow truck. So we get a bigger tow truck. There we go. Looking pretty good. Oh no. And it goes. Okay, so there you go. There's if they'd have done their statics on that and analyzed it properly, that probably never would have happened. So there's some good reason to be taking this class. Okay, so that's just a little bit of an introduction to the course. So there you go.